The Pirates' top priority this deadline should be the bullpen. There have been a lot of questions, especially at the back end, and they need arms. It needs to be trades, not just like a Brandon Isaac pickup. They need to bring in established major league veterans to shore up this really ugly bullpen so far. They don't need any help on offense, and whenever I'm looking at places to add to this team, the rotation might be their second biggest priority. Good morning and welcome to Offbeat here on North Shore 9 presented by FanDuel. My name is Alex Stumpf and this is a daily look at your Pittsburgh Pirates. Braxton Ashcraft had a bad night in the Bronx. It happens to the best of us. 8 earned runs allowed, a new career high. Pirates were able to pull up ahead for a brief period of time after falling behind 4-0. Ashcraft surrendered the lead again. Just a bad night for him. Stuff happens. I think the rain delay or the rain out in Cleveland and him needing to throw a bullpen then and then have his start pushed back after the All-Star game, it seemed like a little bit of a recipe for disaster because whenever he has struggled, it's usually been his routine being thrown off. So whether it was that or him just not having his stuff for the night, he has definitely earned a couple mulligans this year. But there's also that lingering, nagging feeling also with Ashcraft of this guy who has thrown as many innings this year as he's ever thrown in his career. And that's what if he's kind of hitting a wall? Now, I don't think he is right now. I'm not overreacting to one start, but it's something that's going to be in the back of a lot of people's minds this year, especially in the second half of the season, whenever he's eclipsed those innings highs and whenever he's thrown more pitches than he's ever thrown before. How is the body going to hold up? And it's not just Ashcraft. I look at this rotation and I see a lot of question marks. Starting with Tuesday starter Mitch Keller, who has not had a good year and has really, really struggled against left-handed pitching. Now, how is he going to get those left-handed hitters out? He needs to figure it out. We've talked about this a lot. I think it really rides on getting that sinker back on track. We've seen him throw it more in the previous couple starts. That's probably a good sign. But just in general, it's been a bad year. ERA is over 5. How much can the Pirates really rely on him? Because he's had some short outings of late. He's allowed a lot of runs of late. If this team is pushing for the postseason, they can't roll someone who has an ERA among the worst in baseball. Bubba Chandler, I think he has definitely improved as the year has gone on. He's gotten his mechanics in a better spot. I think he's on the right path. But he's also a rookie. He's also had some downs this year. He's also going to be throwing a new high in innings. There are a lot of question marks there. Ashcraft, a lot of question marks there also. It's a rotation that you look at Jared Jones and it's like, yeah, he could be a big part of it, but he's only kind of capped at 6 innings. Is it just Paul Skeens that you feel really good about the quality and the quantity of innings you're going to get down the stretch? Like Jared Jones, I think he's back on track. Needed a couple starts in the major leagues, get that environment back after, the elbow surgery and being away from a mound for over a year. I think he's back in that groove right now. But is he going to go the whole year? How many innings are the Pirates going to allow him to throw? How many innings is Ashcraft going to throw? How many innings is Chandler going to throw? Can Mitch Keller get back on track and get that ERA under 5? So I look at this all and it's like, maybe you add a starter. I don't think it should be a top priority. They're not going to sell the farm to get Scooble or anything like that. But do you pick up a back-end starter? Back-end lefty? We all know this rotation has always had a veteran lefty. This year has been the exception. Do you target someone like that? Do you dare try a reclamation project in season? Because I like Jeffrey Springs of the Athletics as a reclamation candidate. I know the stats are really ugly, but if you look at the peripherals, it's like the same amount of hard contact and whiffs as like a Hunter as Foster Griffin in Washington, who is going to be one of the top trade targets, this deadline. It's like I think that's Timu Foster Griffin. I wouldn't mind throwing a number 28 prospect and stash him in my bullpen back end of the starting rotation. Because right now there are 5 guys, and 4 of them have question marks surrounding them. And that's assuming they all stay healthy. Because if someone goes down, I don't know who fills that spot. The most obvious candidate is Mitch or Carmen Mlodzinski, excuse me. And yeah, even this setup that he has right now, where after a game he talks to Bill Murphy and they map out a road to recovery and him getting back to the mound. Ben Cherington brought up, like, yeah, it also puts him in position if he was to go back to the rotation. Now, at the same time, on his radio show on 93.7 The Fan on Sunday, Ben Cherington brought up that the role that Carmen Mlodzinski is pitching in now is the one where he can make the best impact, give the team the best chance to win. And in theory, I agree with that. I wrote for Book Rule Bucks how he's not being deployed in a lot of high leverage spots. And the smoke when you got him mindset that they have with his availability kind of makes him hard to put in those types of spots. But I agree with that. He is probably still best off as a reliever. He could make the biggest impact there. Wilbur Dotel, 3 scoreless innings on Monday, really kept the Pirates in this game. They didn't end up winning, but they had a pulse the entire way through because of what Wilbur Dotel was able to do. Do you move him to the rotation if someone gets hurt? In either case, you are losing one of your top 2 relief pitchers. And I look at what's going on in AAA, whether it's Hunter Barco or Thomas Harrington or Antoine Kelly, and I don't want them to make starts right now. If this rotation stays healthy, there are still a lot of question marks, and there's no guarantee that all 5 are going to be healthy all the way through. That just creates a need, in my opinion. We're going to take a quick break. Throw it over to Cody. We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar, our exclusive snack hydration sponsor. IQ Bar protein bars, IQ Mix hydration mixes, and IQ Joe mushroom coffees are the delicious, low-sugar, brain and body fuel you need to win your day. The Ultimate Sampler Pack is a great way for you to try all IQ Bar products and flavors. You get 9 IQ bars, 8 IQ Mix sticks, and 4 IQ Joe sticks. All IQ Bar products are clean label certified and entirely free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial ingredients. With over 20,000 5-star reviews and counting, more people than ever are fueling their lifestyles with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. The Ultimate Sampler Pack includes all 3. My personal favorites so far have been the almond butter chip and the iced tea lemonade hydration mix. It's just really full of flavor. I love starting my day with it, and I couldn't imagine starting my day with anything else other than IQ Bar products. Right now, IQ Bar is offering our podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, including the Ultimate Sampler Pack, plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text MLB to 64,000. That's MLB 64000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details.
Now, if the Pirates do end up picking up a starter, there's the question of where do you put him? Because Braxton Ashcraft is staying in the rotation. He's not going to the bullpen. And I don't think Bubba Chandler is going to AAA. I don't think Jared Jones is going to AAA or the bullpen. It might be Keller that you look at. How sure is his rotation spot right now? Obviously, he's been here a long time. He has the veteran leadership angle. He has the largest contract for a pitcher in franchise history. These are all factors that go into, you keep him in the rotation. So maybe you do stash someone in AAA or in the majors, put them in the bullpen for a while. This bullpen definitely is flexible at the moment. It could be molded any which way. Really, the only thing of this bullpen that kind of looks like it's pretty good is the long relief. Whenever you have Majinski, whenever you have Dotel, you could potentially add another guy in there. Maybe you need another guy in there if Majinski's not going to be available the majority of the days. I think Keller is still in the rotation. I don't think they want to just salary dump him, or anything like that. It's still a question of, is this your best possible starting five? We've talked a lot about how this is a homegrown rotation, and that is a feather in their cap. Not a lot of teams can produce a rotation of just guys that came up through the system, that have that camaraderie, who have grown and are all part of this mold. That's commendable. But at the same time, whenever you don't have a lefty, whenever you don't really have a true veteran now outside of Keller, there are going to be storm clouds. I don't think Braxton Ashcraft's start on Monday was anything more than just he didn't have it. If you make 30 starts in the year, the idiom is 5 days, everything's going right. 5 days, nothing really goes right. It's what you do with those other 20 that determine what type of pitcher you are. And so I'm willing to call this one of those 5 where he doesn't have anything. But as he now is at as many innings as he has ever thrown as a pro, the quantity is going to be in question. Jared Jones's quantity is going to be in question. Bubba Chandler's quantity is going to be in question. Mitch Keller's quality is going to be in question. And even Paul Skeens, look, he's having a good year. I've dedicated a lot of time talking about what's wrong with Paul Skeens? He's still having a pretty good year, all things considered. He just hasn't been the Cy Young. But even that, that's not the same level as what we've been accustomed to, what the Pirates are probably counting on. And he is also, in 2025, he had a new career high in innings. There are a lot of parts of this rotation where I could see the wheels falling off. And not a lot of starting pitching depth at the moment. And the starting pitching depth they do have weakens an already ugly, bad bullpen. They could add a starting pitcher, and it wouldn't cost a lot in terms of dollars and cents. It wouldn't cost a lot in terms of prospects if they're willing to settle on the C tier arms that are out there. And I don't think they need a big stud here. I'm more concerned about the depth and how it's going to impact the bullpen if someone gets hurt. Because this is a bullpen that has no wiggle room at the moment. If you want to improve that unit, I think a part of that is making sure your rotation options are rock solid. Thank you so much for listening to Offbeat here on North Shore 9, presented by FanDuel. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe wherever you find podcasts, or check us out on YouTube if you want to see my smiling face. Thank you so much for listening. We'll talk again tomorrow.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in, whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube. If you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.